All right, here we go. The Bunker Project, podcast episode number 30.
Amazing. And my mic's down. Turn up my mic, man. Turn up my mic. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to another episode of The Bunker Project. We are live to hard drive once again in, not the Bunker Bar, but St. Regis Hotel.
Yep. All right, Andrew, great to be back. Great to be back. I mean, God, the bus ride to this bar week after week. Just kidding. Come on, this is show 2.
Show 2, and it's
And
our
it's the loose
second
show because
episode.
I've got 1 Kilkenny, 2 Kilkenny, 3. Hang on, this doesn't have a Kilkenny on it, man. I've been ripped off.
You've got a blank.
There it
You just have
is.
to turn it
Sneaking.
around.
Hey, man, these drinks, they're so sneaky.
So we're going to start off the show with
you
a
got
little
3
round
Guinness.
table. So
Actually, it's a rectangular
everybody in
table.
the hot seat here gets to introduce themselves.
Okay,
And
let's
we'll
start
over here.
with the lady with the purple out.
My name is Layla Pejman, and you can follow me at the Pej, but I'm a marketer and publicist.
Nice.
Also, she's a technical maven with awesome, finger on the pulse of whatever's going on.
Oh, man. And okay, so and who are you, young man?
Well, I'm sure the Bunker Project listeners know
He's our
who I am.
Game
apparently.
maven.
Yeah, I'm the game maven. I'm at Twisted Magic, MAJIC Magic. I'm a video game developer and also interested in social media, podcasting, technology kind of guy.
I hear you made some major bucks this week because they pulled such a massive tooth out of your head that you got all the $1,500 from the Tooth Fairy?
Yeah, the Tooth Fairy was very generous this week. Thank God for cavities. 'Cause I didn't know that you got money when you were an adult, but...
Well, it offsets the guy yanking it out of your head.
I didn't know that either.
yeah, it was thanks to the insurance company.
Yeah,
They,
give him a grin. Let's see a grin.
you see?
See? Hey, he looks like a reverse hockey player.
Yeah.
Yeah, reverse hockey player.
All right, and who's next on
Alan
these?
Knight.
All right, Big AN.
My name is Alan Knight. I used to be a decent person until Bob and Andrew introduced me to do beer drinking.
Black beer.
And
Now I'm
podcasting.
addicted to beer drinking. So I'm struggling to get back
Didn't you
into-
used to be like a monk, you said? A Buddhist monk?
I
or
went
something?
from being an athlete until the age of 19. I was just talking to some gentleman there when I came that close to death on the Mediterranean Sea, and I went from being an athlete to a Buddhist monk for 9 years of my life.
Wow.
Wow.
Then I came
And then back to
I
the
missed
beer.
the girls, came back, left the monkhood, missed girls.
And the
then
beer.
I became a communication and motivational trainer and coach.
All
And
right.
you've
So
been doing
what-
that for quite a while in Vancouver here.
I've
right?
been doing what though?
Motivational.
Yeah, for about 20 years now. And in a nutshell, the reason I'm very connected to social media, because I know that so much of what you talk about is social media, and it's certainly the buzz, is I'm a big believer in it. But I think sometimes what's missing is the personal side and the human contact and communication. So my expertise lies in the communication, high impact, elevator speech, networking, phoning, presenting, relationship selling, and just any relationships, how to have major impact. From my new book coming out will be how to attract, connect, and have impact on people. So in a nutshell, that's what I do.
In a nut, a big nut.
And a big nut.
That was a
Biggest
big nutshell. All right, and we have another
Another maven.
maven. We said we were mavenized.
Well,
All right. And what do you specialize in, young lady?
I specialize in transformative social media training.
Oh, nice radio voice.
Thank you. I'm Lorraine Murphy from Rain Coaster Media, and I'm also Rain Coaster, the infamous Rain Coaster. This is sort of my alter ego on the internet that runs around and offends people and has tentacles and lives in a cave.
Oh,
And
she's got nice tentacles, though.
I do indeed. And when Cthulhu comes, I will be eaten first, which you can take any way you like.
Whoa. And we'll put a note reference on the show notes of what the heck she's talking about. And now, over to our radio voice specialist.
Hello, boys.
Hey, can you, before you introduce yourself, can you say... I'm here to-
Igdisius.
I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum.
No,
and
Igdisius.
all
Just
out
say
of gum.
Igdisius.
No, too
No.
cheap for
No,
me.
hey, nobody knows what that means.
I
Does
don't know what
anybody
it
know what
means
Igdisius-
either.
Stripper.
Oh,
It's just a fancy
yes, I
Igdisius.
have no idea what that is.
I'm an Igdisius.
I
Whoa,
have
great.
no
you know,
idea what that is.
Down on Wall Street. Whoa.
But I happen to be Ken McGrath.
Ken McGrath.
Yes, and I work with BE Linked Marketing. We are social media managers.
Whoa, I
Is that
love the
good?
way your
Was it-
voice
was
is.
it-
There's a roller coaster
Yes, Oh, quiet. No, we
You're
actually
famous, though.
Um,
I heard you on the radio the other day.
well, I turn up every once in a while.
And what did they ask you to do? Can you say this? Can you say that?
Yes, we'll
Can you
just leave
say
that alone.
Bunker Project?
Bunker Project.
He's got an
Bunker
amazing voice,
Project.
and he's not faking it. That just comes out of him like that.
No, it's just me.
Yeah, it's just me, man.
It's just me.
No, you do UBC podcasting. Like he is a podcasting maven.
I record
technician.
all of that stuff. Well, I spent 30 years in that broadcasting thing, so as a sound techie guy. So I've recorded my fair share of voices and people and that sort of thing. But it all came up on the web.
He can
I
gaff
did a-
like the best of us.
Did a bunch of them for the Olympics. They're on the Globe and Mail.
Nice.
Or Van Ock, I think, still has them on their site too. And it's universities and UBC, all across the universities contributed all across the country. It was great project, great project.
Amazing.
Not quite like the Bunker Project,
Yeah,
but
of course.
close. It was
No,
close.
nobody can compare.
I know.
And now over to our drinking maven, our cocktail maven.
I resent that.
That's because you haven't had enough to
Our
drink.
sailor.
Oh, no.
Now you were going on about your Manhattans. You've been educating the bar.
I've been training the local bartender. It took us 3 shots, and by the third one, he nailed it, and it's beautiful now.
No, you sure you're just totally toast? You can't tell anymore.
So little plug. Sorry.
You're just toasted. You can't tell. This is perfect, man. I love you, man.
Speak for yourself, Bob. You're cut off.
Oh, damn.
So a little plug for Mr. Matt Brer,
is that
general
our bar-
manager at St. Regis,
Oh yeah, Matt.
for hooking us up with a great spot. And,
Yeah. Matt was like, he was a trooper. I came in here. It's like they've really got their system together because this interest. You go in this amazing bar, and then you kind of like these massive stairs, like super wide. I felt like the Queen coming down, and I talked to a serverette or whatever the technical term is this day to be politically correct. Amy, it's this nice young lady. I said, hey, look, we're thinking of coming in here. Actually, I was desperate. Good God, please give us a place to do the damn project.
We can't
And
do it at my
I
house
know.
anymore.
And then the food and beverage manager like whisks by and then kind of like in a cartoon style. And she hands me off to this guy. And I says, oh, hi, I'm going to do the podcast here. And this is what a podcast is. Da, da. Oh, you got to talk to my general manager. And I was like, dude, I'm just checking out locations. Don't think. Next thing I know, I'm talking to the general manager. Boom, he's right on it. You got to do it here. It'd be awesome. So he is switched on. He knows what he's doing. And this is an awesome location. Even if you're not coming down to the Bunker Project, the guy that's cooking the kitchen, he's styling up the food big time. They've got a great selection of booze. And this back room, which
And-
is basically empty, which is a tragedy. This is downtown Vancouver. An awesome place to have a bunch of people, basically.
And who recommended it to us?
Oh, one of our mavens. You know how it is.
Lorraine
I guess.
Murphy
Yeah,
at
right.
Raincaster.
I think she gets like 2 plugs in a
Rain
row.
Coaster.
Rain Coaster.
Rain
not
Coaster.
Raincaster.
Raincaster. No.
Rain Coaster.
Rain Coaster. Oh, okay. Grab that. Just make. Hey, it's a self-serve mic bar.
All right, I have to jump in here because
Atta girl.
I have been organizing events at this hotel for over 10 years. It was.
You
I
do
had-
you do your courses here?
No, but I should actually.
Damn right.
Man, I should do my courses someplace I can get beer.
Yeah, I know.
That would make 9 a.m. so much
I
easier.
know the manager. I know that I can. Actually,
and there's a Starbucks upstairs too. So that
Yes.
The thing with this location, though, is the guests of the hotel, they do a buffet breakfast here in the morning. So if it's too early, because I was talking, hey, you should get BNI in here and all this type of stuff. But, yeah, hey.
Can they close the doors so that you don't hear the noise?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, if we were doing this
I
all
don't
the
think
time,
they
we'd
ever
bring in
have.
some big curtains.
In our old location at the bunker, we had kind of a private room in the back,
Oh, it was awesome.
and
With
we
the
didn't get
DJ
any of the
equipment.
noise. So it's
It
going to
was
be
a
interesting
closet.
to find out because we won't know until
It was a storage room where the
till we put it up what it's
was
actually
like-
going to sound like. But yeah, there is some background noise coming in.
Oh,
for
it's
sure.
nice because it's very moody.
Ambiance.
Very nice.
I think it sounds
Ambiance.
more like a pub.
Yeah, I think we should record it, and when we go back to the bunker bar, we should just play in the background. It's like engineer that in.
Fake background.
Fake ambiance. So that is our Truth and Tested panel. And on our left, we have an internationally recognized journalist from Germany coming in here. We have, what was it? We was into something.
Social media coach.
Social media coach. We have parents galore.
We've got a world-renowned expert on piss rubbers.
Oh, yeah. Piss rubbers. We'll be putting a link on the show for that one.
What the
Piss rubber.
What the hell's a piss rubber?
Hey, I'm not going to touch that line,
we've
even
got
though I
a,
want to desperately.
Maybe
It's
we'll
like,
find
what
out
goes
later in
piss
the
rubber,
show.
I know.
Can we get a
somebody wants to
demonstration?
come on.
Yeah, actually, in the break, we did get a demo, and it was a high-end piss rubber and that. All right, here it goes. Tristan comes in. I just Googled it, and... What?
Was that a noun or a verb?
It's well, depending what you're doing with it, it could be both. All right, I haven't seen that French movie.
I think now I'm cut off.
Well, we had this conversation the other night, and
Well, you did.
it reminded me of this of that joke. Why did the rubber fly across the room?
And why did it?
It was pissed off.
Oh man, that was weak. So let's try and start the show as our studio
But it has nothing
audience
to do with
varies.
that. Absolutely nothing to do with that. It's footwear.
That's
You
a
know,
digression.
Yeah.
Take a drink.
Footwear.
Oh, hey, we forgot our digression game, but we
Yeah.
haven't been digressing at all, have we? That's horrible.
That's
We have
totally
not
a
digressed.
digression.
Hey, all right. So this is the that was our game.
That was
Maven
a
coming in.
digression.
Beep. We got to give him a whistle. You know. All right.
We gotta get
Offside.
Offside.
Offside. One drink.
1 pint. 1 pint. Right.
Okay, and that is my
We gotta get
digression
another-
swallow.
another,
That's the game.
mic.
If we digress, if the conversation digresses, 40 people haven't played the game, you have to have something to drink. And we had one show. It was like all digressions. Oh my God, I had like 7 or 8 beers.
Ken
Well,
tried
it
to
was
get
an incentive. You were here for that
Oh,
one.
it was a great show. It was a great
Yeah,
show.
it was an
God, I
incentive.
can't remember.
We had a fun time that night.
It was an incentive to drink.
Well, I
To
remember.
digress.
I remember listening to the show 2 weeks later and didn't
We
remember any
encourage
of it. I said,
digressions.
wow, I can't believe I said that.
Well, that's what you say every week.
That's true. It's true. I'm on the ball while I'm on the mic, but a couple hours after, it's like what? Okay. Is demand media bad? So let me define in-demand media. There are a bunch of sites out there right now that are basically creating lots of content. Like if you go to like how to, it's like, how do I connect up a VCR, or how do I stucco a house, or how do I divorce my wife? And it'll be like, hi, I'm Joe Gibson. You want to get rid of your wife? I'm your guy. And it's basically amateur hour in front of a video, and he will tell you how to get rid of your wife, and this is the paperwork, and blah, 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 or it's stuck in your house, or, do a podcast or whatever. And this basically is considered demand media. If the public wants it and are Googling about it, these guys look at this as like, hey, people want to know how to divorce their wives. Let's get a bunch of tutorial videos out there. So it's socially driven content instead of the old-fashioned way. It's like, hey, this is important news. We think the public should know about it, so we're going to research it and write about it and put it in the New York Times and blah, blah, blah.
And the
people-
media is so good at that.
well, like they used to be. But what's interesting, actually, I was listening to a podcast and being driven in my very large limousine.
A
You know,
bus.
Yeah, okay,
The
fine.
big blue
The
limo.
Honda.
Yeah,
the
right,
Honda.
right.
Come on, Bob.
No,
Brought
bus.
to you by Translink.
Brought to you by Bob is brought to you by Translink.
Actually, you want to hear it's about Translink? I'll digress on this if you want.
Well, okay.
All right.
Just for a second.
It's okay.
If,
None
you,
of
if
us
you look
are
up the
employed,
Twitter
but-
feed, bus fail. It's
Nice.
It's got awesome retweets of people just yelling at the transit system. So
Oh, awesome. Well, there you go. We'll put a link in for that. That'll
Bus
be
fail.
okay.
Good.
Bus fail.
Bus fail.
Hash mark bus fail. With audio links, I would assume, right?
no,
Oh.
They should have video. They should have,
Well, you could.
smartphone.
We should put an audio boo.
Smart.
Audio boo would be awesome. Yeah,
You know, everybody's on candid camera nowadays, right?
on-demand video service for your bus not showing up. Yeah, actually.
Well, yeah, and the next time you're angry at your bus driver, instead of just yelling at the guy, whip out your iPhone and record the conversation for 5 minutes or less and put it up on Audio Boo, and then tweet it.
Yeah, Translink is not happy about this conversation right now, especially their media relations department.
Oh, hey, they've got to get their social media crew on their ball and in the show.
Which reminds me that just
atta girl.
before we started, I saw a tweet from someone saying that Translink is hiring a social media person right now.
All right, I want the job.
Go for it,
Big
Bob.
time.
Go for
Do
it,
it.
Bob.
How
like
fast
they're
can I
ever
get
gonna hire you
fired?
now.
It's like, what? I got fired in the interview. That's it.
I have to
It's
admit,
okay.
that would be
I
like the
recorded the
toughest
interview.
job.
You guys are all over the internet now.
People complain about their bus ride all the time, even if it's semi-okay. And so I think that would be the toughest job to be a social media person. For
I
the
would
transit.
love to do that because I would just love those people to death.
I
I'm saying,
think
let me take you out for an
No,
ice
that would
cream.
be-
They've burned through 3 people already in that position, from what I understand.
they're not
it's
me.
gonna be
Oh,
tough.
it's a be brutal. Are you kidding? I'm the guy that calls.
If they gave him,
I'm the guy that's
I would
calling. And
so
I would
hang
say
up
that,
on
hey,
you.
Bob could
dude,
do it if he had free reign.
I know
but
how
he
you
won't have
feel.
free
I
reign,
hate
so
this
he'll be-
company too. They're a bunch of assholes. Come on, I'm on your side. Come on.
You get 1 million
You know,
followers before you were fired.
I would, but you know what? They believe in me because, and then I would say, hey, you know what? I'm going up to the C-suite and I'm going to kick some butt for you, and I'm going to record it. I would be putting it on Facebook next Wednesday, so everybody tune in for that. And I go up to C-suite. I, caveat it. Hey, by the way, I'm going to come up and do a rant in front of you guys. You just play along with me because this is our social media department, and sign the papers, the waivers, and. You call yourself a president? Come on, I had to blah 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 blah, blah. And he's, oh Bob, we're really sorry. Oh, we won't do it again. We promise. And then we
Right.
broadcast and we say, man, that's great bus company. Even if they didn't mean it, to get the CEO and the CEO to do that, everybody would love that company. I mean, it was like, whoa, entertainment. I'm late for my bus, but I'm listening to the podcast. I don't care anymore. Wow, look at the.
I'd actually like to see them on Undercover Boss.
Oh,
Yes.
Get them to actually ride the bus to work and actually also do the same job their employees are doing, like
Yes.
with all those other
Somebody
companies.
says,
Oh,
why
that'd be
do they
brutal.
have a parking lot at BC Transit?
No, but then nobody takes the bus. Are you kidding? They got to get to work on time. The bus company would stop. No, I use the bus all the time. In fact, I don't even have a car. I use co-op cars. But, people say, Bob, I admire you for taking the bus everywhere. I said, what do you do? I was in Asia for 8 years. Nobody really uses cars. I am so used to transit. I am so used to working on transit. It's a functional piece of my time. If I get in a car and drive for 45 minutes,
Yeah.
that's 45 minutes of lost time. I'm listening to like a podcast and
Yeah.
learning something. So
That's
that
what
is
you would
that is
be
good
doing.
use. Yeah, but
I mean,
if-
that's what you're doing on the bus anyway.
well, I'm doing but if I'm on the bus, I get to take notes, right? And hence my scribbled notes here for being on the bus coming in. So, and that brings us all the way back to the beginning of this major digression, which means I'm going to have a drink.
Drink.
Oh, thank goodness for that, because I was talking way too much. And I totally forgot the point. Hyper-targeted audiences is what I was going to bring up. So what happened in the past was there was all these newspapers were in competition with each other. This is like we're talking 30s, 40s, and 50s in the United States. There was tens and 20s of thousands of these newspapers all over the United States, and they were all in competition, so they did hyper content, basically. Aunt Billy went to here, and it was local news. Well, what's happened? All those 20 or 30 or 40,000 newspapers have got eaten up by 3 or 4 conglomerates. And because it's a conglomerate, to streamline the news and make it more efficient to create the content, it's become generic. So local news, like Aunt Betty's pie wins the prize, and in that community, that's all they care about. I mean, okay, the horrible things happen in Afghanistan, but what about the pie competition? That's what we want to know. That's disappeared. So there's this thing called citizen journalism, and that's because of social tools that are out there like Facebook and Twitter and blogs and all that. People can do social journalism, and that is filling the gap. So apparently there's only 14,000 newspapers in the United States for each community, and there's 24,000 communities. So there's 10,000 communities that have no way of communicating what's going on in their community. So that is a void, and it's being filled through social media and blogs and things like that. And this guy was being interviewed, and his name was Krish Tolles, and he's the CEO of Topics, which is a topics.com. Go look it up. We'll put a link in there for you. But basically, I love this. He's interviewing him and say, what about objectivity? And his quote is, who cares? Isn't that fantastic? Who cares about objectivity? And it basically, you can't measure objectivity, and there's no such thing as objectivity. And it's true. If you work for the New York Times and live in New York and have a specific lifestyle, and you write about something else in the world that you research a bit, you do not have objectivity because you're biased about your reality.
I would agree
that you
with
live
that,
in.
and I don't have a problem with that as long as your bias is known, and as long as you're putting that out there.
Well, yeah, basically, the bottom line was stop trusting the news and educate yourself.
I totally agree. I used to be a journalist. I used to work for business in Vancouver. And journalists recognize that they are biased. We are all human. And one of the most attractive features of social media is that you can put your personality into it. And the personality is what attracts people to it. I mean, the facts are the facts. And the biggest criticism of citizen journalism is that the citizens don't necessarily have the same respect for the facts as professional journalists do. But mind you, professional journalists are the ones who brought us all the hype about WMDs in Iraq. So,
Well, I thought that was the CIA. But,
well,
they
yes,
brought
but
you all sorts
they
of other stuff.
couldn't have spread it without the cooperation, the knowing cooperation of the media. And the media was skeptical, but they said the party line anyway. In a climate where that occurs, you produce an appetite for something else.
Yeah.
And that something else is exactly this being filled by these other people. And objectivity is not possible, but what we do need to do is we need to bring our critical intelligence to everything that we read now, whether it's in the New York Times or whether it's on Joe Schmo's blog at Blogspot.
Or Facebook in the morning, you go on
Absolutely.
like what's going on. I mean, I just found out about this amazing burger place in Nanaimo, BC. Next time in Nanaimo, I'm going to check it out. Apparently, they have a fiberglass horse. It's like, what? And I looked it up, and there you go.
That's
Google
what I look
Images.
for in a
There's the
burger
fiberglass horse, and apparently it's the best burgers on the island. So I now know when I'm in the Nanaimo area for lunch or breakfast.
And the fiberglass
That's what I'm
horse.
going. Fiberglass, and it's not horse burger. Come on, I knew that was coming. I just jump right in there and I'd say, "Oh yes, young lady."
Well, I mean, I think it's good. It's a very good point to say, be critical about what you read. But I think with the online space, people are still choosing to read information that favors their side. So, like for example, people will choose Huffington Post. It's known for being a left-leaning site. Did I say that right? No, but you know.
Well,
but
you could call it a right-leaning
you know
site.
What I mean? But like when you have that online space, you're gonna choose. You're gonna choose. Blogs or specific websites that
fit
favor to your liking.
your paradigm or
so,
your liking.
but
yeah.
it's
You choose
but
the
how do you balance?
sorry.
I know, but then it's like how do you actually become critical about the content that you're reading, even though you're theoretically choosing the side that you favor anyways.
Yeah, well, we're biased, and like I've got a good buddy of mine, and all he does is listen to extreme right wing or left. I think it's left wing. Anyways, it's all like the whales are dying, and this is dying, the planet's blowing up, and it's like gloom and doom, and the CIA is doing this, and then it's like this theory and that theory.
That's the Maven, right?
No, it's a different guy.
Oh, okay.
And anyways, and I'm going out and I'm sitting chatting with him, driving around, and I say, yeah, okay, I get it, but can we talk about something else? And he can't because that's all he listens to, because that's all he listens to.
Yeah, it's the same with
His opinion has no value because he has no objectivity. It's like, I'll listen to him and say, but I also listen to a bunch of other stuff. And I say, well, yeah, I understand that, but what about this and what about that? And he says, because he doesn't know about it, he discounts it.
He's obsessed with that particular topic.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's
just
one
like,
of the problems.
Just like Croft at Health Empowerment News is obsessed.
Oh,
with.
yeah, but those are the best type of people to get on your blog, or on your podcast, because you just lead them a couple of lines and they go, oh, what are you talking about? And it's very entertaining. But really, that and as valuable as that information is and as accurate as that information is, it's irrelevant unless you have the other information. Like if you just listen to this show and maybe watch comics.com, you would have a very skewed concept of reality. You'd be drinking beer all the time and talking social media all the time.
Yeah?
And saying,
How's
hey,
that skewed?
we've digressed. I get to have another drink. It's like, Bob, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Come on. That's what they say on the podcast. So you really got to have a broad spectrum of, hey, you got to listen to a little CBC, which, by the way, in the United States is considered a communist. It's like, oh my God, CBC, it's so left wing, it's crazy. I mean, it's the guys from what is that? CNN, the
Fox.
soup Fox.
The
Thank you.
right wing.
Fox is terrified of CBC. They think CBC is the devil incarnate. So what are you talking about? CBC, give me a break.
Well,
But-
Fox News is coming to Canada now.
Yeah. What?
Oh
that-
God, don't
that-
get me started.
That is actually interesting, though, because there is a CRTC thing going through right now where they don't have to publish news that's exactly true.
Yes,
So,
and that's
Well, it's a
huge.
boon for
And that-
us
that
because
coincides-
everything on the show's
No, but
facts.
that coincides. Well, we have nothing to do with that, but that coincides with Fox coming to Canada.
yeah.
They've changed the rules so that they don't have to justify their facts anymore. So news is entertainment, and in Canada, that's a brand new thing.
Well, except for the Bunker Project.
Well, I thought we already had the news as in entertainment from this hour has 22 minutes or Canadian Air Force or anything else like that. They usually would make fun of most of the real topics, but at the same time having objectivity to at least get the viewpoints across. So.
Ooh, that's pretty
Yeah.
deep from our gaming maven. Dun, dun, dun. Hang on, you're out of character, dude.
Sorry.
The CRTC has been a rubber stamp, do nothing organization for many, many years now. They have no teeth. And if any broadcaster in Canada did anything wrong, they would never do anything about it.
Yeah, it's a slap on the hand. Oh, sorry for doing that. We
Oh,
forgot.
oops, sorry.
Sorry. Won't. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's
Well,
true.
they did say that Brian Adams was not Canadian content.
Brian Adams.
So there's some teeth.
What about Nickelback?
Take a bite out of him.
I mean, sorry. I thought you were talking
And-
about bands.
And also Wind Mobile. They tried to stop Wind, but Tony Clement stepped up and
That was breaking news.
said, "Go ahead."
Sorry.
Yeah, right.
I just couldn't help myself. Hey, that's, it's a great deal. I use it to bludgeon TELUS. Come on, I get $25. I get everything. It tells you, well, I can give you $60. Come on, $25. Come on, download. No, I can't. Oh, for God's sake, Bob, get off the phone. I love negotiating with TELUS now.
Well, that's because of Wind and Mobilicity. But when they applied, they got rejected by the CRTC.
All right, Alan Knight.
Bob, I just want to jump in. I'm no expert in social media, but I think one of the really positive things, and this might seem obvious, recently I've been watching with what's been happening in Egypt and some of the other countries. I've been fluctuating between Fox News and CNN and MSN, the left wing and the right wing. It's pretty fascinating. And when I see what has happened for so many generations in politics, people who are supposedly leaders, it's all about winning. Most of them that have run the country are lawyers and people who just want to win. It's not about serving the people. It's gotten away from that.
No,
And-
it's suppression and money.
and everybody else, like sheep, has followed. And I think the positive thing, and it's up for us to really use the social media well, but I think one of the really positive things is that we have an opportunity for the empowerment of the individual. And there's so much of that. When you look at what's happening in Egypt and some of these other countries, that shows you the power of social media.
Well, I think, a lot of stuff that the stuff that's going down, the S word that's going down in Bahrain, my hometown, with the suppression and people just
He really
basi-
is from
Yeah,
the-
I was born in Bahrain. Yeah, I'm a third generation expat. We'll put a show notes in there for the Americans to know what an expat is.
Oh, there he goes again.
It's like the dig those Americans.
60% of
Go
our
for it.
listeners are
Go for it,
Americans,
Bob.
and
Go for
Bob's
it.
always
Hey, they love me for my
taking the
character.
piss out of them.
Yeah, because I'm sure we've lost all the guys that think that Bob's a jerk. I'll never listen to that show again. Well, maybe just a little bit. But anyways, no, we did dig the Canadians last week with the eyebrow thing. Well, you
It's
don't
true.
count because you've got
I've got,
eyebrows. You need a
I'm-
machete to trim.
Yeah.
That was sorry.
Because
You'd have to
apparently
listen a couple
Canadians,
shows ago.
according to Leo Laporte, Canadians have no eyebrows.
Yeah, they
I'm
pencil
like,
them
oh
in.
yeah?
Yeah, it's from an ad. You have to go back a couple of shows. Anyways, we digress yet again. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, I'm out of beer. The humanity of it all. Anyways, yeah, what's happened, I think, is with countries that have been suppressed. Sorry, the Maven is just cut. That's our game Maven. Oh, yeah, nice sound effect, Bob. They think, hey, man, look what happened in Egypt. We're not going to stand for this. We've got Twitter. We're going to start tweeting out. They get suppressed. And, man, comparing the suppression that happened in Egypt and what's happening in those countries like now, they're bombing on the people.
Yeah, well,
They're not even putting troops on the ground. They're just wiping people out. And let's not get started because this is a social media thing. This is not a political. What do you got? Pundit?
Digression?
Thank you. No.
there you go.
It's
Yeah,
like a
sure.
Soapbox.
Bob's the only one that can't
Soapbox.
participate in this one.
There's just take us 2 drinks I'm behind. For God's sake, somebody get me a beer.
Anyways,
Okay, so I just want to jump. Oh yeah, you just
Jump in.
Yeah, jump, please.
Someone on Sunday asked me if, because I'm retweeting all of this stuff from Anonymous is on Twitter, Anonymous is on Facebook. I'm retweeting all of this stuff and posting information. When the tanks were heading across the bridge, I tweeted that information. I don't know how many Bahraini followers I have, but presumably someone at least was warned, and that got retweeted. So we're using the tools of communication to change the world, which was always the promise. But on Sunday, somebody asked me, do you think that you might be on some kind of hit list because of the stuff you put on Twitter? I was never more honored in my life. I thought, do you think I matter that much? That's awesome.
well, what about North Korea? How are they going to get access to this freedom?
Well, that's
of
interesting
information?
because in North
Because they
Korea,
don't have it.
they control the point of access. In Africa, everyone's got a cell phone.
Yeah.
So that was unstoppable. I mean, Anonymous takes the government's website down. All of a sudden, everybody knows the government's fragile. It's vulnerable. This is a good point. And the government can no longer engage with the people because it can't communicate.
In Egypt, they tried to shut it all down, but
Yeah.
people still found a way.
There's a fear now that if they shut down, well, if Libya goes completely nuclear, then the Bitly might go offline because it's
It's an LY.
an LY.
Yeah.
But it's all still up in the air. We'll find out. But you can always use WP.me or Google or whatever.
I thought they actually did shut off the internet in Libya, though.
Did they? I didn't see that.
Actually, they shut off Twitter, but what they failed to understand was things like TweetDeck and Hootsuite. Hootsuite that weekend spiked like they've never spiked before, and took over all of that sort of thing. So they tried to shut it down. Yeah, they tried, but there's just too many avenues to get the word out, even on the same site.
If the leaders in the world, I know this is doomsday scenario, but if the leaders in the world decided that they don't like all this freedom, what's stopping the governments or the people in power to shut down all of this? at some
Satellites.
point?
They can't shut down a satellite.
Well, you mean if all the governments colluded to
I'm just saying if China decided and everybody decided and, one day the American government said this is, we got to limit this for security, national reason, whatever. What's stopping them if they have the power to shut it down?
Well, there's nothing.
Well, they need
I
it
think
too,
Yeah,
though.
no.
I think the government uses that as a tool to censor and follow what their people are actually doing. It's actually a great way for them to monitor the whole entire public. It's actually it's kind of. So I mean, I don't have a real opinion about it, but I don't really think that the power of Twitter actually provides them with a lot of freedom, because I feel like they're actually being monitored much more. On the other hand, it's like, okay, if we hear the Green Revolution in Iran, it was, that moment to see everyone tweeting from Iran what's going on, and us as outsiders, living in a country that, we're safe. We're not in a war zone. We see all the imagery. We see, young women being shot. But still, there in that country, nothing's changed. It just happened to be we heard more of the message via social networking. But there's not really much that's going to change within that country. But for us, it was fascinating to hear all of the feeds, like simultaneously and quickly and updated. But I don't know. I don't think there's really. I think there's a contradiction to the way social media kind of gives us freedom.
No, you're true.
gives them freedom.
Okay, the point is, for me, that what's happening now, because social communication is out there, it's probably the first time in history that the general public has been given uncensored data. Like, boom. If this was happening during the Vietnam War, we was like, Joe got his legs blown off today. Oh, isn't it how horrible? And everyone's like, oh my God, Joe, I know Joe, and then tweeting out and da-da-da. So it's basically we're a little desensitized from it because it's not our culture and our society that's having this conflict right now, and it's very real. And you've got all this amazing communication going back and forth, but it also is centralized communication in the sense that a lot of people tweeting about it. But think what happened in LA riots. What was that, like 10 years ago now? A long time ago. They had these huge riots and it burning, and the scene was coming and everybody thought the whole of LA was on fire and the whole city got shut down. No, it was 10 square blocks. That's where it happened. And everybody else was like, oh yeah, they're right. They were watching it on the news just like we were watching the news thousands of miles away and saying, oh, that sounds terrible. But they weren't actually affected by it. What's happening now in the Middle East is we're having this social communication and tweet outs and uncensored information that is happening, and it's affecting that whole society. Like, it's a whole country that is being messed up big time. And we live in such large demographic areas, like it would be very hard to do the similar thing in North America or in Canada because the distances are just too great.
There's one aspect of it as well that that it is one site, twitter.com, but the servers and everything else exist probably worldwide. And to try and shut something like that down, I think, would be extremely difficult.
Globally, you mean? It's impossible to do globally.
Yeah, you can't. The way the technology works is load balancing, and if one server gets shut down, it's repeated 10 or 12 times on other servers. Yeah. They could literally blow up the Twitter building in the U.S. and it would still be it would stop for maybe a nanosecond and keep going.
Well, they could take out the whole United States and it wouldn't go away. It's a global thing. The thing about WikiLeaks, and it kind of shows how out of tune the U.S. government is. When WikiLeaks came out, everybody got a memo saying, oh, if you see a WikiLeaks, and this is from a previous show, if you see a WikiLeaks comment on your computer, don't read it.
Yeah.
That's how they were
that
censoring it.
That was the official policy.
Yeah, that was the official.
It's out there, but don't read it.
Here I'm working in the White House, and it's a really intense job, and I don't sleep at all, and now they're saying there's certain documents I'm not allowed to read, but I have to qualify whether I'm not allowed to read them. And it doesn't say, oh, this is a WikiLeaks document, don't read it. You'd be reading it saying, oh my God, I wasn't supposed to read that. Oh no. So yeah, it's a very confusing. Mr. Maven.
Well, I've got a funny comment from the Twitter stream, actually.
Thank goodness.
That says, people wouldn't be surprised at Twitter being a part of a political revolution if tweets had a more serious-sounding name.
Oh, there you go.
That's actually a good point.
Very good.
And that's from Tim Schafer. He was.
All right, Tim.
He's a video game guy too. So
awesome. And that's a live tweet for the show. I think that's our first one.
No, it's not a live tweet for the show, but I picked it out of my stream and.
All right. Well done, Maven.
Credit
Very
anyway.
well done.
Yeah,
beautifully done.
Tim Schafer. He made Costume Quest, Xbox Live.
Crying. It's the first time it's happened. Hey, and
first
speaking
time we
of,
had internet here.
Here is a it's true. Here is a great digression. Well, not a great digression, but into our next subject, away from this war and all this. It's this, whatever. Growth of apps in Android market. Just obtuse. I want
We got to plug the staff again.
Hey.
Sorry, what was your name again?
Monita.
Monita's been running beers for the last half hour or
And
so.
running, I think, is the right word. I think she served like over 752 people tonight. And she's been doing an amazing job. She said, go service yourself. Good God, guys, I am totally out of control. And still, I only had to get 2 beers. And I went up there and said, oh, can I get a beer? And she still brought them to me.
And what's
she
the name of
is awesome.
What's the name of the bartender upstairs? Alan's been making my
An
Manhattans
awesome
all
job.
night. So
Oh, well done,
I
Alan.
have nothing to contribute to the socio-political conversation, but
Well, that comes from Tristan.
I had to say something again.
He's our cocktail
Cocktail
maven, so
maven.
he's still on topic. Well done.
Good job.
All right,
Well done. Thank you. Well done.
And
I'll
he's gonna
move the
be
mic
bringing-
back to the
when you're-
important people
When you're
now.
in California, you're going to be bringing us drink recipes from.
Yes, in a few weeks I'll be somewhere
live.
on the north coast, north of San Francisco, probably that night. So I'll call in from wherever I'm hanging out and
Via
see if the
Skype.
locals have some great drinks to offer
Yeah, go
us.
for the North and Foggy.
For sure, the North and Foggy, good one.
And if not, make one. It's like, I've only got like 45 minutes. Make up a drink. It's called the North and Foggy, for God's sake. Hey, by the way, I checked out that link you sent me. If you guys haven't checked out last week's show notes, there he actually sent me the guy used a grilled cheese sandwich. The essence of a grilled cheese sandwich as part of the cocktails. Was that not amazing? Was that you?
No, but
I've
I've
done it.
been at Clive's and I've had that grilled cheese washed rum, and it is mind-boggling.
Is it cheesy?
It's
Is it grilly?
Cheesy and grilly, and it's fabulous.
Wow.
And
See, there you go.
He puts it in a toasted grilled cheese Bloody Mary.
Oh, sweet.
And it is to die for. And it just the other day, I mean, it was on, I blogged about it, then it was in the New York Times the next day. I'm like, wow, it must be important. And then, last week, another blog picked it up, a cocktail blog about making infused cocktails and things. And I sent it to Sean Sewell, the bartender, and he goes, oh, God, more press for that bloody cocktail.
Hey, you know
It's
what?
Like the one thing he can't get away from now. He does so much other stuff, but this is going to be on his gravestone.
Well, you know what? We will call him up and we will do an interview with him and say, you know, we've heard about the cheese sandwich and how you hate talking about it, so this is your chance to talk about your other stuff. You know, you're up to bat, dude. The pressure's on.
Well,
Hey,
he's on Facebook, and he's trying to get suggestions for what cocktail to age in a Chardonnay cask, I think it is he has.
Well, I was thinking of a name, a podcast. This one's called The Podcast. Anyways, I know what some sort of digressive type of drink. Anyways, growth of apps in Android market outpaces Apple App Store, but iOS still attracts more developers. Some highlights.
You'll see that change though.
It's like it's
We've
my
got
radio voice.
a,
Wait, in what sense? Hang on.
We've got somebody here.
Well, the
that
game maven says
specializes
like
in
waiting and hang on. He's just got his boots. He's got his boots on. What's going on?
Well, no, I can see how Android's getting bigger because it's an open market space. So it's not like the bricked wall of the Apple world.
Well, it's like the Microsoft of days of yore,
Well,
or
yeah.
me, at least.
That would be the
because-
reverse. It would be the Apple of the Microsoft of days of yore because back then
Oh,
Microsoft
okay.
was the one that was hard to develop for. See,
Man,
because
I didn't know what the hell he just said, but when
It
I
made
sober
sense,
up, I'm
though.
sure it'll make a lot of sense.
All right.
Well, like,
Can we
let's
have
be
a
honest,
translator?
There's like a ton
Listen to the
more
podcast,
Android
Bob.
phones as well as new tablet devices that are being launched this year. In addition, there's even like companies like BlackBerry for their Playbook. They've rumored, they haven't confirmed this, but so developers can develop an application for the Playbook, but that Playbook can also be downloaded
can
on an
you-
Android application.
Androfied.
So yeah. So
Nice.
I mean, it's just the numbers because there's just so many devices.
Oh well,
I
it's
think
the new Microsoft basically.
That's I believe that's true. That-
Yeah, I think it's like
that
99%
you will be able to
sure,
run
but I don't
Android
think
apps on
BlackBerry
the
has
Playbook.
confirmed that. They haven't like
No,
announced
they
it
haven't
officially.
officially,
Yeah.
but it looks like it's for real.
Yeah, we're talking big numbers here. Do you want me to get some of these notes?
Let's
here?
hear the numbers,
Like,
yeah.
There's some crazy numbers. Android market increased by 120% since August of last year.
Yeah.
That's nuts. 120%.
Well, nobody
That's
was sure
100
it was
plus
going to be
27.
awesome. And then it's out, and all of a sudden
It's
it works.
awesome.
So you're just throwing apps on there. That's
Well, yeah, but think of everybody's been like rabbit iPhone, App Store, blah, 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 and suddenly out of the blue, Mr. Android. Where did this super app come from? They're basically a major contender and gonna take market points away from Apple.
Well, they already
big
have.
time. Well, but I mean even more so.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with Android, and Apple may be answering that because the rumor is that they're bringing out, the iPhone Nano, which will be basically a $200 price point iPhone, which will compete with the low price point Android phones that are on the market right now. And that's one of the things that is a barrier to entry for some people that are just moving into a smartphone. They don't want to spend $159 or $269
Yeah.
for an iPhone on a 3-year term.
But have you seen all of the Android tablets that are out now?
Oh, there's a million. of them.
There's just flooding.
Yeah,
every manufacturer is
Yeah.
making an Android tablet.
And why not? It's the operating system is free. Go for it.
Yep.
And
And the
multi-threaded.
new version of the OS is optimized for tablets, so it's even better.
Are we revisiting the 80s? Mac versus Microsoft and
Yeah, absolutely.
different software platform being more available and more open to different hardware manufacturers and
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing Android's got going for it is people
What
are
was
going to
wrong
have
with the
Android
80s?
in the fridge.
I have no
it
problem.
wasn't a criticism of the 80s.
I have no
don't know
problem with the 80s.
Breakonomics.
Def Leppard.
Well, there were no great cocktails that came out of
Bon
the
Jovi.
No, but it's true. I mean, Android is positioning itself as you'll have the
Great
special
sweaters.
Well, no.
It's all about the sweaters, wasn't it?
Cardigans and mullets.
Wow, that
I
hurt.
see you're
big
still sporting yours.
Trying. It's coming back.
I'm going to classify that as a double digression.
That's a
guys,
triple
because I need
digression. Getting rid
a
of it in
triple. I
May.
need a drink after that. Oh,
That should be a
mullet.
shot. That shouldn't be just a drink.
Yeah, round of tequila for everybody.
Yeah.
No, but what I see happening with Android, they're positioning themselves as the free brain, basically. And if you want to put out a cool fridge that talks to your computer and says, "Oh, by the way, go buy some lettuce because we have no lettuce," and "Oh, you need 14 eggs," blah blah blah, that will be an Android application. So you'll have Android. Now, they always use like candies, like a sandwich bar and blah blah blah. So it'll be Android triple sundae or something like that.
No,
and
they
then,
always
and
use-
then have your Android vacuum cleaner and your Android toaster and stuff. It'll be the next generations of applications because not appliances, because everybody's got these old appliances like toaster ovens and stuff that are 5 or 6 years old. And you put the toast in and you crank. It's all manual, but imagine if they brought out a whole series of new appliances that are basically the same price point, maybe 30 to 40% more expensive, and you put it in and you say, "Bob Toast," or it talks to your iPhone. "Oh, Bob, you're in the room."
Apple and Microsoft
How-
make
how-
toasters?
No, he's
Apple
trying
and
to.
No, no.
Microsoft make
Well,
toasters?
He's trying to make an analogy.
No.
It's a really long one.
Well, no. What I'm saying is Android has made their software free. So if I'm going to develop a toaster,
Yeah.
I don't want to pay Apple $300 to make
$100.
my $100 to make my toaster smart. I wanted to do it for free, so my price point is $69 for the toaster, which talks to your Android phone or your Mac phone if you get the app for 99 cents. And then when you walk in the room, it says, "Hey, Bob." Boom, put in your toast. We make it exactly right for you. Boom, and they make and your vacuum says, "Oh, we're in Bob's room now." Choo-choo-choo. I mean, they tried to do it in Japan when I was living there, called Fuzzy Logic, and basic was they were building in technology into these
Kinda like
appliances.
this show.
Yeah, exactly. Thank y'all. So the machine, your appliance would know where it was. So if it went from a hardwood floor to a rug, it would recognize that it was on a rug, and it would adjust its mechanism to go for the deep pile or non-pile. It's called fuzzy logic thing. So it's very primitive. But what Android's doing for this global domination is it's free. So if you're a manufacturer, why spend $20 or $50 or $10 when you can get it for free and make your product so cool because it's got a built-in brain?
Yeah.
And you don't have to
get
go
that.
through their developer.
No,
Exactly.
nothing like that, right? And it'll get
Update.
updated for free, and you plug your toaster in
Well,
every now and it gets upgraded.
And by sharing it with the other, community, you have a better opportunity for somebody else to keep advancing the technology, improving your
Yeah.
logic, all that other stuff.
And your
Now, there's-
toaster talks to
that's
your
their-
fridge, and you say, "Look, we've got
That's
14
their
pieces of
biggest-
toast in here. You need some more bread." And your fridge
That's
says, "Hey, Bob,
Android's
get more
biggest
bread."
strength, but it's also their biggest weakness.
Weakness, yeah.
In that
Yeah.
the
Hackability.
different versions aren't compatible with each other. There's all sorts of issues in that regard. I still believe they're doing it's the best way to go.
Yeah, they just released Android 3.0 yesterday.
What's it called?
3.0 Honeycomb.
Popcorn?
Yeah.
And the other thing that really gets
I'm
me
waiting
about
for
Android
ice cream sandwich.
is
Apparently,
that
that's awesome.
every manufacturer, the I is going to be ice cream.
I know ice cream
Yeah.
sandwich is the
Yeah.
new name of it, because
And-
it's like for 2 tablets together with an iPhone in the middle or something like delicious.
So-
You were saying,
Anyways.
Andrew?
Yeah. So what I was saying is,
Was that a digression?
it could have been. Everybody
I'll
can
take
have
that.
a drink.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So
As everybody
basically,
shuts up as they drink. Yeah.
what I was saying is that the biggest weakness that they have is also their biggest strength, and with all these different iterations of Android phones, one person has one Android phone and they have an app that works, and you can't get it on the other Android phone. So that's a problem.
You're finding that, though, the same way with the iOS, though, with some applications that work with the iPhone 4 that doesn't work with the 3G or the iTouch. So, I mean, it's a common problem for a lot of developers.
Or
anyways,
or
like that.
iPad versus iPhone,
Yeah.
which is even more prevalent. But that makes sense because it's a different platform.
But they just released some metrics the other day that said that people that were upgrading to 2.2 Android, about 40%. So people like the new updates and they're willing to take the new hardware on their devices. It's just whether or not it's capable to actually have it on their system.
The other thing I was going to say is that the manufacturers can put their own skin overlay on top of Android, like HTC
Yeah.
Sense, Motorola Moto Blur,
Mm-hmm.
and that adds another complexity to the OS. So if you're on a Motorola phone with Moto Blur, you get a different experience than you get but with the iPhone, it's all the same.
Yeah.
iOS is the iOS.
Well, it's totally locked in.
And we were talking before the show about the Nokia deal with Windows Phone 7, and I think that is the savior for Microsoft's mobile platform,
Oh, big
because
time.
Nokia, they don't have a very good smartphone platform. It's horrible. I used it for several months, and I don't like it at all. But in Europe, Nokia owns the market, and with this deal that Microsoft, I guess they paid billions of dollars to make this deal. They now have access to all of Europe and the developing world, because Nokia is strong in developing countries and in Europe and in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
And so now millions and millions of phones this time next year will all be on Windows Phone 7 by default.
Yeah, I know.
Did you have anything to say about that?
I'm actually going to kind of switch. I mean, I'm not really. I think Nokia and Microsoft are a little bit behind the game, and it just depends on whether or not they are innovative enough to push forward. Nokia has not really been aggressive on the smartphone side.
No, but Nokia has a good reputation for hardware, for building really good hardware, and they've got a loyal following. So
outside of
people
North
aren't going to
America,
stop in Europe and Asia.
Fair
Worldwide, all Microsoft cares about is sales,
Volume.
worldwide sales, and if they can get their OS into Nokia phones by default, they're automatically going to be, in the number 3 or maybe the number 2 position for smartphone operating systems.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the interesting thing about the Nokia deal is that Sony is actually going to go with the Xperia with the PlayStation phone, right? So, it's definitely, you're seeing the mobile game developers, plus the console game developers, kind of go away from the consoles, maybe start fighting for the mobile handset, because there's more people buying smartphones now than there are laptops, and I believe Tristan said that less than a show ago, and so. It's just one of those
somebody's
places.
listening. How wonderful.
No problem, man.
I listened to that show too. It was amazing.
Yeah, you got to keep track of what's going on in the Bunker Project. But it's just interesting between the two console manufacturers now pushing for the mobile phones, with the Apple already being there. So maybe it will be like a 4-horse race, which is not a bad thing for competition by any means.
I agree.
Yeah,
And
you've got BlackBerry with the corporate. They're pretty entrenched in the corporate world,
Yeah.
with their push email and their security and triple des and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Triple des.
But to converse about the tablet market, just because the iPad has dominated that market very well, and this year, you hear the new innovation of many Android tablets and the Motorola Zoom coming out. Do you think that even though there's that many Android tablets out there, do you think that they will overshadow the iPad this year?
I think the only because Apple brought the iPad on market first, and it was such a strong thing, even though it's a piece of crap. It's so strong because it has so many apps, and everybody was so rabid to get into it. It has so much dominance that the benchmark, it's a skewed benchmark, and all these people are coming in. It's like, oh, we got 2 cameras, we do this and that, but we don't have enough apps, and da-da-da. I think we're going to have to wait another 6 or 8 months before that becomes an issue. It still is dominated by iPad.
I think that Apple is going to have their share of the market, and I think it's going to be, the same as it is now. But the Android is definitely going to take a lot of that market share away in the future. But the playbook is interesting because I think they made a big mistake in not giving out a pin with the playbook up front, because I'm a former BlackBerry user, and now I've since moved on to the iPhone and the Android. Now I'm on Windows Phone 7. I'm going to probably go back to Android soon. And if I could, and I'm in the market for a tablet, if I could take the playbook and get a pin and get back into the BBM world without actually having to have a BlackBerry, that would be huge.
That's a really good idea.
And they're not doing that. In fact, in order to even use your personal information management, you have to pair it with the BlackBerry. So really, they're going after their existing customers with the playbook for now, and then later they'll come out with another version of that later. But I think they should have come out of the gate with a product that is offering a PIN to the former BlackBerry customer that's moved on to the iPhone or whatever, but still would like to have that BBM experience and pin to pin. And
I think tablets suck.
Thank you, Bob.
Because I've looked at tablets and there's this 7-inch little. What the heck am I going to do with a tablet? I mean, a tablet is
Here's
for
the guy-
consumer
okay,
of content, right?
this-
I make content.
Okay, yeah, but Bob just recently came in to
here
the
he
store,
goes.
saw the HTC Desire HD, and said, "Holy smokes!
That's cool.
I want to get that one because it's almost like a mini tablet."
4.5 inch. Yeah, but it's a smartphone that's 4.5 inches. It's almost as big as a tablet, And I'm saying, yeah, okay, I could work with a phone like this, but what I wouldn't get a tablet. I get an Air, and I get an Apple Air because I want my tablet to work. Apple Air, like 12-inch Apple Air or whatever it is.
13-inch, yeah.
13-inch, like $1,000. Okay, I pay $500 for an iPad, which has zero functionality, or I get a full-on kick-ass
Computer.
Well, it
lightweight.
doesn't have
that's-
zero functionality, but you're
well,
right.
I could
it's-
kill people with a
it's-
slice.
it's
for
for,
laser, your head cut off.
It's for
James Bond.
consuming
You need to make a
information.
YouTube series of
It's
that.
for easily consuming information. It's not for doing work.
But I can read things on my computer just fine. And the
Well,
thing
yeah.
that I like about the smaller devices is that they're small. I can put it in my pocket and go
what's
rollerblading
going
and
on
so
over there?
No, they're wrestling with the mic. Don't be worrying about the mic. Hang on.
It's a very passionate issue, isn't
I
it?
know they're getting into. Don't be messing with my
But
iPad.
like the iPad is a big hunk of plastic that does almost everything an iPhone does.
It is an iPhone.
Thanks.
Well, it does less.
It's a
You
big
can't use it
iPhone.
as a no.
It
You
doesn't
can't
have a
use it as a
camera.
phone.
You
It
can't
doesn't
use it as a
phone.
Well, the
It's
iPad 2 will have a
non-functional.
camera.
iPad
Oh,
2
yeah.
will have a camera.
Well, why
Well, it'll
did
have
they
two
come
cameras if
out
they're
with
smart.
something so non-functional in the first place?
No,
I like what
because- no.
Colbert said about the Daily Beast special edition thing
Well,
for
if you
it.
bought Colbert.
All the convenience of the internet without being free.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Thanks.
basically, the way Apple works, and they've done this many, many, many times over many years, they'll bring in a product for timing to dominate the market because people are desperate for it. They'll build up the hype and say, oh, God, we got to have it. And they'll go to the developers like, what can we put on this thing and get it to market in 6 weeks?
Yeah,
Not
but
like
they're-
6 months
they're
and 6
also
weeks. And they say,
smart
well,
about it.
we couldn't put this in. We can do great. Well, don't put it in. Put the damn thing. We want to put it on market, and we want a prototype in the next 3 days. And they'll make a prototype in 3 days. And get the damn thing
And they'll
out.
bring out a product that works.
And then what they'll do is they'll get a bunch of
they'll
feedback
cripple the
from
product.
people.
So
Well,
to
yeah.
make sure that it works, and then they'll add the features later. Like,
But the
cut
features
and
will be what
paste on an
everybody's
iPhone,
asking for.
Look how long it took
Social
cut
media.
and paste to come out on the iPhone. And Windows Phone 7 done the same thing. There's no multitasking on the Windows Phone 7.
But they have speakers.
The HTC Surround does. But, it's one of those things. And they're just following in that platform. And they did everything right because Windows Mobile 6.5 really sucked. And Windows Phone 7, no multitasking. It's a heat-sensitive touchpad. It's not a style. You don't need a stylus. And imagine like trying to compete with the iPhone, and you have to pull out your stylus in order to, or grow an extra long fingernail in order to use the phone.
Yeah, but it's good if you do Coke, too.
The,
right?
the other thing, the other thing I want to mention though is this: Apple actually has a kind of crippling hold on the manufacturers of touchscreen glass. They have an order of $5.6 billion for the touchscreen glass that actually goes on the tablet.
Yeah.
So until they get their run from the manufacturer, not other tablets are going to be able to have those.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just like Samsung Super AMOLED screen. They own that technology
Exactly.
too.
Actually, that market has changed. Actually, the plate manufacturer, what are those plates that don't break? What are they called?
Corel, Livingware, that stuff?
No, the ones the older one.
Wedgwood.
Melamine.
No, come on, you guys.
Bakelite?
Bakelite.
Concrete, yeah.
Bakelite.
No,
That's
anyways, this guy is a ceramic. This company is a ceramic company. They have this new glass that is almost as hard as diamonds, and it's available for phones.
Nice.
it.
Yeah,
And we
That
very
sounds
good.
will,
That That sounds like
add that to the show notes.
Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly.
that is a show.
That's the show,
We're at
man.
59 minutes.
But-
It's
oh my
almost a
God, you
record.
haven't. Oh, everybody said Pyrex. Pyrex. No, thank you for Pyrex plates. Was
So
it Pyrex?
if you want
yeah,
to reach
okay,
us
the Pyrex Glass Company
on the show,
Sorry.
Bob, what's the number?
Oh, I don't know. Some phone number.
1-877-636-1474.
Google us, goddammit.
Call us, get us.
The Bunker Project Vancouver.
We'll get you in the show. Ask a question, comment, complain,
And come on
whatever you
down.
want. We'll put you on no matter what you say.
Absolutely.
The second show's always a little looser. For some reason, I don't know
The
why.
hair gets let down. What little
My
there is.
stomach kept rumbling. I'm like, oh, that doesn't go on the mic.
I know. I was feeling that too myself.